unplug the ice machine.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of CarnivorousGrama Speaks. We are so excited to be here tonight with my brother cousin, Sherrod, the Right Reverend Elder Sherrod Brown. That's what his wife calls him. So welcome to the show, Sherrod. We're so happy.
Hey, well, thank you. Thank you, Robin, for having me on. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. So, yes.
We're so excited. So I wanted to bring Sherrod on because Sherrod has recently started his carnivore journey, and I thought it would be just awesome to hear from him. He has some really unique things about his carnivore journey that I thought would be so profound to share, things that I have not heard very much of in the carnivore community before. And so, and it's just really cool to have members of my family actually starting carnivore. So, Sherrod, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
All right. For those of you that don't know, I am Sherrod Brown. I am I just got into my 50s. I don't know if I should tell my age because, Well, anyway, just got into my 50s. And half the time I forget how old I'm. Because when you get older, you don't track really your age. When you're younger, you like, I can't wait till I'm this age. Well, I'm trying to slow it down now. Well, anyway, my name's Sherrod. Yep, I'm married. I have 4 children. Been married now for about 28 years. And so, yeah, I'm a veteran, disabled veteran. Yeah, I just live life just like everybody else. Born in Benton Harbor, Michigan, living here in the great state of Michigan. I'm a Wolverine fan. First of all, is God, family, and then Michigan football. I believe I'm true blue when it comes to that. So. So, yes.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was trying to keep myself quiet while you were talking and introducing yourself.
Yes.
And so I know that there's a bit of a dilemma in your household going on right now with that true blueness.
Yes. You already know. I got a young one. And, it's not his fault because he actually applied to go to Michigan, but they had so many applications that, he had to be put on a wait list. So in the meantime, you got to make a decision. So his decision was Sparty. So, I kind of had to suck it up a little bit and, go on and play fair a little bit. So I got me a little bitty, sticker, so I could say I'm supporting Michigan State. So
I hear that.
Only because of him. It's only because of him, though.
I know. That's a tough one, man, because I grew up in Ann Arbor, part of the time in Kalamazoo, part of the time in Ann Arbor. And it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Come on, Moses.
Yeah, I know. Oh. Yeah.
That's awesome, though.
We was hoping, and, so it just worked out how it did. So, yeah. We going to float with it. I'm going to be okay, Yeah.
He's going to do great wherever he goes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very proud of him for, for deciding, for going to college,
Yes.
He's a super smart person.
Yes. Hey, anytime your children could do a little better than you, that's always a blessing. And that's all we wanted anyway. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about carnivore and, what made you try carnivore?
Well, to be honest, it's something that I have been looking at over the course of the last year anyway. And I've always been familiar with keto ever since, I tried keto for a little while and I did okay on it. As soon as I stopped, though, I went back to gaining all the weight I lost. So,
Yeah.
um, but about 2 years ago, I actually decided that I needed to, change my lifestyle because I just was picturing myself if something happened to me, like would my wife be able to, and my wife is little, so would she be able to really take care of me? And I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to put her in that situation. So about 2 years ago, I guess I decided I was going to make a change in the way I eat. Um, and it's been quite a journey since then. I just started making off small changes. Chips. I started with oils. Since I'm a have fried foods, I want to fry my stuff in good oils. So I started with avocado oil and olive oil and coconut oil. Just those small changes like that. And then over the course of a year, I started changing so much that it was really starting to show. And I actually was starting to lose weight. And so, um, I just kept doing things like trying to drink more water, trying to get more sleep, trying to do a little more movement. And then, of course, I deal with some disease and sickness, so that I had to, sometimes that would kind of deter me a little bit, and so looking at, of course I get to see you in real life, so that helps, and seeing how strong you've been over these couple of years with Carnivore. I said, all right, I was thinking this year I was going to do it, but I was thinking in my mind, I think I'm gonna start it later this year, and I don't know, my wife just kind of, she was like, I'm gonna start Carnivore, and I was like, well, well, I need to, maybe we should do it together. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's why I actually started now. And actually, I'm kind of glad I did. So,
So, I guess so your wife said that she was gonna start.
yeah,
That's pretty awesome.
yes. And
And
and I
so
heard other people had started, other people we know in our circle. And I was like, man, I probably better go ahead and start now since everybody's doing it. Let me just go ahead and try it. So that's how I started.
that is awesome. So, can you tell us what is the biggest surprise that you got when you tried so first of all, how many days or how long have you been on carnivore?
I am just over my 30 days, probably like 35, somewhere in there, maybe. Um, but yeah, so it's been that long now. And when I first started, the first thing that I noticed was the pain in my joints was gone. And then I noticed that my swelling in my legs had gone. So, I have been, diagnosed with sarcoidosis, which I was diagnosed when I was in the Navy back in 1992. They diagnosed me with that, lymphedema, and another uh, disease called erythema nodosum. And so, um, and then it was like, if you're familiar with the military, it's like, hey, they prescribed me some ibuprofen. It's like, you should be okay. And so for over the next 20 some years, I have been struggling with different jobs, trying to, maintain a good work life as far as being able to do my job. And a lot
Mhm.
of the jobs were a lot of standing, a lot of, on my feet. And so I would always have problems trying to, maintain that. And there'd be times my legs would just give out on me. And I even had a career in truck driving, and if that's a horrible life if you're not disciplined in taking care of yourself. So my lymphedema really got bad, and it got so bad that my legs would swell up so big. I think at the time I was buying size 17 shoes just to have them on my feet. That's how swollen my stuff was. Um, and so I just decided I can't keep doing that. So so all through my years, just trying to not understanding the disease and what's happening to my body, I just rolled with the punches, tried to get up every day. I was on a regimen of Excedrins and ibuprofens and whatever else I could take just to get up and get out the bed and get to work. And so, um, yeah. So because of that disease and the swelling, I've had to deal with that a lot. That was the first thing I noticed right away, and that swelling was, I mean, right now, if I ain't gonna show you my legs, but my legs, and people who know me, know, that it's totally down. I actually just went and bought some regular shoes finally. So
What?
yeah, because I was wearing specially made shoes that the VA would give me because of the swelling. And so,
Congratulations.
yes. So I have some
So you
regular
just was able
shoes.
to go to the store and buy some shoes.
I bought some shoes. I ordered them online. I ain't go to the store. But
Okay.
you know me, I order stuff quick. So, but yes, I'm wearing some regular shoes. Hey, and my feet feel good. I felt good wearing them. Matter of fact, my daughter, she was just so looking at me so shocked, like, man, look at you, you look good. Your shoes look good, so yeah. So it feels good to kind of be like get back to where I was,
Yes.
years before being sick.
Mhm.
Is if you don't, if you don't really understand how, you know, not being having mobility can play a number really with you mentally, physically, I'm gonna tell you it's something. So, I I always, and me, I try to help out many people that I see who also struggle. That's one of my ministries. What can I do to help them? You know what I mean? And so I'll try to buy a walker in a minute if I can for somebody, because I just know how it is when you're trying to move and you don't have all the stuff. So you know, so that's the first thing I noticed was the swelling and the pain. So, and you could get used to pain after so long. You know what I mean? Pain after you've just been dealing with it for years and years and years, um, it could weigh on you as well. And so, you get used to taking pain medication. You get used to doing things, putting on rubs, trying to take baths. I was trying to do everything all the time, and now to be somewhat pain free. I mean, I do. I'm suffering from a little soreness because I'm trying to exercise more. I'm trying to move more, so I have soreness. But other than that, I've been pretty good. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm blessed with doing this carnivore, and for the meantime, I'm just going to keep going. It was to do a 30-day challenge, so I'm past my 30 days, and now I'm like, all right, let's keep it going for another 30 days. And I could see this actually being a lifestyle, to be honest. So um, it is hard, uh, not eating all the stuff you used to eating, but you know, we'll make it work. Right now, my health is more important than having you know candied ribs or some, you know what I mean, there's barbecue sauce on some ribs, or having that piece of cake, you know so you know
Sorry about that. My power went out.
oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's what happened, why I
Yes,
disappeared.
yes, yeah, I didn't even notice, so you're all right.
You didn't? Oh, okay,
No, no.
good. So I totally have no idea what you was talking about,
Yes,
but yeah,
yeah,
thank you for
yeah.
continuing on.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You know how I talk, so I could talk you till your ears turn blue. So So on top of that, I also we had the pain, and then I feel better too. That was the other thing I started noticing, and my energy levels. My energy levels have been like really amazing. Like I was doing energy drinks, I was doing coffee. Um, I have yet to have any of that. Um, and I've been able to be more energetic throughout the day. So yeah, it's been great. I,
That is awesome. That is
yeah,
awesome.
I wish I'd have started when you started 2 years ago.
I wish you had too. And I was trying to tell everybody how amazing it was. And I'm sorry it's so dark in here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Yeah,
Okay, good, good. Yeah, I was trying to tell everybody how amazing it was, but what I knew was everybody thought I was crazy to try that.
yes,
And so I wonder, did you have any kind of thoughts like that? Like, this doesn't make sense, or who does that? That was kind of how I thought about it when I
yeah,
first heard about it.
yes. I definitely had lots of questions, and maybe that's where probably should have been talking to you a little more about it. Um, you know, sometimes people don't like to talk about poop. Okay, I'm sorry, but it's an everyday thing, and that's
It's
one of the things that I always, I make my own kefir, so I
yes.
was making kefir, having kefir every day because I felt like the stomach biome was like, if I could work on that, which that's what I've been working on last year, was trying to, work on different. I stopped using toothpaste, Crest, and all
Mm,
that. I use natural
mhm.
toothpaste now. And
Yes.
it's funny because I hadn't been to the dentist in like 5, 6 years,
Oh,
and when
wow.
I went, they was like, your teeth look good.
Yep.
And I stopped with the Listerine. I stopped with all those
Mhm.
things. I use natural coconut oil washes and different things like that.
Yeah.
Some of the natural toothpastes. And you know, so I was like, okay, this actually taking care of yourself really works. So I really started getting in, looking at nutrients, and trying to eat better. And,
Yeah.
and of course, you're doing that with all these sides, right? So
Yes.
and that was the thing that I was kind of like, man, what I'm gonna do with all these sides that I have, and get out of the habit of having to have sides with your dinner.
Mhm.
And
Right.
so that was one. And definitely, like I said, the bowel movement thing was one for me because I had a colonoscopy. The first time I had one, I had no polyps. 5 years later, I had one, and I had some polyps in it. And
Mm.
so I was like, wow, what changed in those 5 years? And then, of course, the doctors were saying, well, you probably need to get more fiber.
Yep.
So I
That's
started
what they
taking
say.
more fiber. I was like, so I found out which fiber should I take. So I started taking
Mhm.
psyllium husk, and I was doing that every day. And yeah, of course, it was moving right on through. So, and I've been always pretty regular. So,
Yeah.
so that was my next question. Was like, if I'm just eating meat, how's that going to affect me?
Right.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. So
So I'm curious to know, has there been any differences in
no differences in my bowel movements. I think that's what I hope that's what you were going to say, because it kind of cut off on me.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, there hasn't actually. The first week, um, it did kind of slow down a little bit, and I was going like every other day or 2 days. But the last 3 weeks, it's been every day still.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think that's what I experienced. So when I started carnivore, I had 30 days straight of diarrhea.
Mm,
And so my gut biome was so messed up. It really was. And it had to completely like eject everything.
yeah, yeah.
And so 30 days. And so I always say, like, we kind of started you guys out on a 7-day, do 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, and
Right,
people have been continuing on
yeah.
from there. But I always say you got to do at least like 31 days, because that was my experience. Is that I had diarrhea, but I suffered with IBS with constipation.
Mm,
So kind of went the opposite direction. For me, I was never really regular. And so on day 31, it was like the heavens opened up. I'm like, oh, so this is what things are supposed to be like, and then I no longer really dealt with that IBS unless I get the wrong food, then I'll deal
Yeah.
with some of that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you can poop. You will be able to poop, we promise.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. No doubt about it. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of the things like that people have questions in their minds, really, you should just really talk to somebody who's been doing it a while, and they'll tell you
Yeah.
it's really not, all those things you think and hear, oh, you eating all that meat and butter, it's gonna mess up your cholesterol, it's gonna mess
Yep.
this up. Oh no. Everybody, even that I've talked to, and family members that I had got to try it, just even if they just did it for 3 days, their blood sugars had almost normalized, their glucose levels were, and most of them were on medication. Like, they realized, like, I don't have to take this medicine no more. Like, that's how fast it works
It
by
does.
doing this, and it's immediate. So uh, look, I was pre-diabetic, and I've been dealing with that for the years, trying to get my numbers down just by changing my diet, and and it's hard, but because you're eating, they want you to eat a variety of foods and colors and different things, and it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
So when I went straight meat, I mean, it was I just had my labs done. My A1C is finally 5.5.
Wow.
So yes,
Congratulations.
yes, down from a couple years ago, 7.5.
Wow.
So
Okay. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
That's
So
awesome.
hey, I don't know. It's the proof is in the pudding, man. That's what
I think that's the key,
It
and you
is.
you have gotten some people to try this that wouldn't even listen to me at all.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
crazy. I
that's
was
been
like, yeah,
really
yeah,
awesome. And I think people have the realization that um, the medicine is not fixing the problem. There's not really any healing
yeah,
in the medicine. It's like putting a band-aid over it. And in fact, things are getting worse in the background.
yeah,
So I know that one person in particular was saying that they were so shocked by the fact of how fast it worked. It was so fast, it was kind of scary. Like, oh,
yeah,
my sugar is dropping.
yes,
And you're going to need to, if you are on medication, you really need to monitor yourself
yes,
because it will reverse that, those high glucose numbers really
yes,
fast.
yes. And my mother-in-law stayed with us for about 3-4 weeks of that, of my 30 days. So
Hmm.
she said she would try it, and
Yeah.
that same thing happened with her. Blood sugar started normalizing. She started feeling a lot better, So she went back home. She's like, I'm gonna keep doing this,
Good
So
for her.
yeah, yeah. So and I don't want to tell her age, but she's well over, older than me for sure, a lot.
Yes. Right.
So so that just goes to tell you that no matter how old you are, or young, that you can make a lifestyle change based on, the foods that we're eating and change your life for real. Um, I didn't want to be, you know, 20 years from now in a home, or have to have somebody take care of me. I want to get to where, and I've seen people doing it. I've seen people living it. And so I'm like, I could do that too, And so if I start today and I had to quit putting it off, stop putting off what you can do today, because you're just going to keep telling yourself, oh, I'll start this time, or I'll wait till this, or I got to wait. Well, I got to wait till I can go here and do these. I got to wait till I can get the food I need. No, just start and just do it. That's all you
Right.
have to do. And once you'll be so glad you did. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think that is a very profound statement, is that just start. And for those of us who have yo-yo diet, have you been on the yo-yo diet roller coaster?
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
Going to start on Monday. It never works.
No,
It never works. And
no.
starting on Monday is just a fallacy.
Yes.
So, what has helped you stay committed to carnivore? You've been a little over 30 days. What
Mm.
has helped you so far to stay committed?
Um. First of all, I like the support. I got you if I need questions. I got Denitra. I got I check y'all videos out, so that's been helpful. Um, my wife has been a big support. Even though she's kind of like a keto-ish, but it helps for her, helps us because we've got so used over the last 28 years. We used to eating certain things, and you know trying to you know break the habit of sugar in our lives was a big move for us, but it's been really great. I used to buy I used to buy king size candy bars and have them everywhere. I had some next to the chair here. I had some in my room, in my bed. Like we made provisions to have our snacks and to
Yes.
have these things, everything we wanted to eat. Oh, let's do fried chicken and macaroni and cheese and sweet potatoes and this and so you're eating all this food, and and you're just stuffed, and it's not doing you any good. And so you feeling bad after you eat. Things. You got pain in your body. Your joints are aching every morning when you wake up. It's like, to be free from that. I don't know if I want to ever go back to that. You
Right.
know. You know. I
Yep.
mean, and
Yep.
and there, and I still have temptations about different things. One of the things that has caught me off guard is not being prepared or having something to eat. And you know, a lot of times I have been just down to like one meal, maybe two a day. And you be out and you're doing stuff, and now I'm trying to move a little more. I find
Mhm.
myself, needing some energy. And so, got caught a few times out there slipping, and but
It
I made
happens
the
to the
best
best
of
of
it.
us.
Yeah, 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 yeah. The good thing I was glad about was that I didn't say, okay, I'll just wait till Monday and start over again. I immediately started that next meal. I was like, okay, well, I just eat better my next meal. And that's what has been helpful for me. So even if you know, be in a situation, and I know, I've been trying to work on my relationship with food for a while. One being an emotional eater. Um, you gotta check your emotions. You gotta watch how you feeling, and be prepared to have something so that you're not caught in a situation where, I'm just gonna eat this, and then you're eating it. Because I will tell you this: once you have some sugar, you're gonna want it again.
It's a drug.
It is, and it's very addictive.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I would
is
say I would say it's more addictive
a lot of
than
other
some of
things.
the other pharmaceuticals. Okay.
It is one of the most addictive substances on the
Yes.
planet, and we
Yeah.
literally begin our children off with it from birth.
Yes.
And so we are all addicted to sugar, and to one level or another. Some of
Yeah.
us are able to moderate, and I'm definitely not a moderator.
Me
Sorry
neither.
if there's a lot of noise in the background. My grandkids are here.
Yeah. Tell them I say, hey, no.
Okay, I will. But yeah, so but sugar is extremely addictive, and I'm saying to people that I'm coaching, like, if you have sugar, you are going to crave sugar. So you're going to have to be prepared for that, because it is going to be a mind over matter in terms of getting back on track.
Yes. And you know, I have been doing all the sugar-free stuff too. The Jolly Rancher. I found some sugar-free Jolly Rancher. I've been eating on those because I was doing Skittles. I was doing Skittles. Look what I was doing. I was buying sour Skittles. I was getting sweet tarts, and I was getting sprees, and I would mix that all up in baggies. Look, I
Like
would take a hand,
granola or
I would
something.
take a handful of that and eat that, especially before I went to bed. I don't know. It's just something about the candy, the sugar. I just felt like, oh, let me eat this. Then of course I'd be zoned out going to bed.
Yep.
So I tried making small changes. I was like, let me do the sugar-free Jolly Ranchers. Well, by the time you eat about 6, 7 Jolly Ranchers, it's the same. I was like, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just replacing it. And
Exactly.
so now what I do is I chew on ice. I will
Okay.
have some gum if it gets to the point where it's like really like, I'll do some gum. But um mostly ice now. I'm chewing on ice. So y'all got me hooked with the salties too.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Everything kind of changed for me this week. So I was like, well, let me stop doing some of the, sugar-free stuff, even the pops and stuff. And
Hmm.
I actually stopped. I've been on like a 3-day, just all beef.
Nice.
Yes.
Lion diet.
And at first, because the salties were a little different for me, but now I'm like, now they taste so good to me. It's like, oh, this is good. I'm trying to get up to where Kendra is, where she was drinking 2 to 3 a day. So I said I'm doing like 1.5 now a day,
Yeah.
and I'll soon be on to 2 because it was hot today. So whoa,
Yeah.
it
It's
was hot.
very
So I
hot
was like
today.
drinking them electrolytes, getting them in. So
Yeah. That's
um,
good.
but being on all beef has been even blessing for me too. So when I went out today, I had cooked some ribeyes yesterday, and so
Mm.
I saved the piece and I put it in my plastic bag. I got that from you and Denitra, and so it's like carry your stuff with you. Hey, so
Hmm.
look, and that was my little breakfast, little eat, and I tell you what, it was so good. Oh my gosh, I'm just like, man, this is so good. So so I might keep this up for a little while as well. Um, noticing my skin is starting to look better. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I do want to share your pictures because you sent
Oh
me a
yeah,
couple.
yeah,
So, and just, a quick reminder that Sherrod has been on Carnivore for about 35 days, is it?
yeah. Somewhere up in there. Yeah. I wish
Okay.
I'd have did better with tracking actually when I started. I kind of went. I think I remember it's like a week after some others started. So I always say,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah. So this I'm gonna share is
Dad, that was earlier that was April, right?
yeah, this was April. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys can see him today. You can
yeah,
see the difference. But I
yeah.
was noticing when I looked at this, what I noticed was your eyes.
Yes.
Like your eyes were so swollen,
Yeah, yeah,
like almost
yeah,
swollen shut. Of
yeah.
course, it could have been a sunny day. You were squinting, but
Yeah, it
still.
was sunny, but no, you're right. I once again, it's dealing with this disease. There was a lot of fluid in a lot of places,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I want to say that first week and a half, I took off probably about 12 pounds of fluid. I think
Wow.
is what I took off. So
That is
so
wild.
take that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is wild. That is wild. So then you sent me this picture, and I just was like
yeah.
taken aback.
Yes.
Like in 30 days, and you even look better than this today.
Yes.
But your
Yes. I was
eyes
going to
are
say
wide
that.
open.
Yeah. 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 I tell you, the energy levels is crazy. I'm so like, I don't have to have coffee or energy drink anymore.
Wow.
That's what's surprising to me is like, man. And even on
Amazing.
days where I don't get a whole lot of sleep, I'm still up. It's like crazy because I've
Now
always
that's
had
crazy
problems.
because y'all like to sleep. over
Oh,
there.
well, yeah. Well, I have to sleep late because I was going to bed late. You know, you go to bed late, like 4, 5 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
I was sleeping until 2 o'clock. So yeah.
Mhm.
Now, 9 o'clock, I'm up and I can't go back to
Wow.
sleep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A lot of carnivores say that they need less sleep than they used to.
I would think that is true then.
Mhm.
I would have to say that's true.
That is amazing. So I wanted to just say that, I have seen you for years, of course, and I saw you on a scooter for a long time,
Hmm.
many years, right?
Yes.
And the other weekend, I saw you actually standing.
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
I was
Yeah.
so amazed by that because I haven't really seen that
Yes.
in some years now,
Yeah.
actually.
Me neither. No,
Yeah.
me neither. So yes, I want to do more. Hey, we went to the Y today, so I'm trying to swim. Get my swimming. Swimming is the best exercise for me. And
Yes.
being able to move in the water and not have, of course, I was more worried about it then because I was dealing with more joint pain.
Right.
And Robin, I've had every joint in my body x-rayed, you know,
Wow.
trying to figure out why am I having all this joint pain.
Mm. And the joint pain is gone?
Mm, mm.
It's the food, you guys. It's
It's the
the
food.
food.
I'm telling you, that's got to be the culprit. I'm.
It is the food.
It's the food. It's the food. 100%. And eating it every day. And I'm not just talking sugary. I'm talking carbs.
Yeah.
Period. And I really start. I've known about oxalates and different things because different people having kidney stones and things that. So I always knew that's what that related to. And certain people can't have a whole lot of high oxalate vegetables, but once I started really looking at that, I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I need to watch eating all these different vegetables. And vegetables are good. I love vegetables. I love asparagus. I really had started eating more of these things in the last few years than my whole life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I wasn't really no vegetable eater. I've always ate meat and potatoes. That's been my, you know, sure I'll have I'll try a little bit of salad, but that wasn't my first choice.
No.
Excuse me. So
Mhm.
so yeah, so when I stopped eating all that stuff and then start feeling better, I was like, oh yeah, this will be a wrap for me. I'll continue doing this. So.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think that's the thing is, and I discovered this too, like, I tried to eat vegetables because that's what we're supposed to do, right? Even on keto, your plate, it was a really plant-based ketogenic diet, not a protein-based ketogenic diet.
Yeah.
And so your plate would be full of, broccoli and salad and cauliflower, doing all these different things to cauliflower to make it more palatable. And come to find out, I had a literal sensitivity to those things.
Man.
So I was making myself even sicker by continuing to eat them. And until I cut out all of that and went strictly meat based, that's when I was able to see resolution to a lot of different issues,
Hmm.
health issues. So,
And I'm gonna agree with you on that too. So last week, and this is my first. We were one of them situations where it's like, oh, didn't prepare, nothing ready, coming in late. It's like Moses, he wanted to order some Chinese food, so I was like,
mhm,
okay, what can I order from here?
yeah.
Then my wife was like, my mom used to always get the egg foo young thing, so I was like, okay, let me try that then. If it's eggs and you get whatever in it, got the gravy on the side. I ate it though, and I still don't actually know what's all in there, but I just noticed the next day or so I just wasn't feeling like well, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, and I'm pretty sure it had like some green onions, maybe something else in there. I don't know what else was in it,
Well, in
which I
Chinese
probably
food,
should have did.
oftentimes they'll use MSG,
Yeah,
which that's a thing about. I was thinking about when you were talking about the Jolly Ranchers and the candies, is that they just have a lot of ingredients that you really don't want to incorporate. I mean, you may not want to incorporate into your way of eating. So
yeah,
people do probably what they would call a dirty carnivore, where you can have those things, but if you look at the ingredients, you might be a little concerned about it. So that's
yeah,
what I would think about Chinese food, and really almost everywhere that you can eat out. I've had issues
mm,
because they put something in the food that I can't tolerate.
yes,
Yeah, so especially if it doesn't make you feel good, definitely Chinese food is probably not the top of the list of places to go if you're a
yes. I
carnivore.
see that now. So hey, but
Yeah,
you learn, and this is a learning process for me. So hey, I'm gonna learn my way through it. I'm not gonna give
yeah,
up just because I hit a roadblock, and
yes,
so I'm just learning to, push through on some of these things that you deal with. So
right.
my health is more important than right now. Like I say, I wanna, I want to be like you and travel a little bit.
Yes, yes, yes,
I,
yes.
I've been in the house for as everybody's saying. I want to go outside. I want to be
Wanna
outside.
go outside. I know that's right.
So
You're gonna be
hey,
outside
yeah, yeah, yes.
playing, outside playing,
That's it.
and being
Yes.
able to move and have the vitality. And this to me is profoundly what God promised to us.
Yes.
It is the abundant life that God promised. And one of the things that Denitra said that I thought was so impactful was that we are presenting to God our body, our decaying body, because we're not willing to make a change.
Yes.
And so that is, and the really amazing thing about it is that the body is designed to heal itself.
That's awesome in itself, right there,
Like
man.
when it says fearfully and wonderfully made, I don't think we really understand the
No.
depth of that, of how amazing God has made these bodies, that we could tear it down for years and years, eating all the wrong food. Or food, it's not even food, it's food product, maybe something like that you could call it. It's really just a bunch of chemicals that we're eating. And then our body will regenerate itself.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It
It's truly,
is. It
truly amazing.
is. That's a
I
whole
have to
nother
shout out. I got a shout out. I just one shout out.
one shout out.
Kerry Mann is here. Kerry, I have to say hi to you, and hi Emma. Hi Katie. You
Hello.
guys, I love y'all. Thank you for stopping by. And I definitely appreciate y'all being in the chat tonight.
Yes.
So I don't
Yes.
know if you know about Kerry, but Kerry is the person that is doing the Healing Humanity, the Power of a Proper Human Diet documentary.
Mm,
And it's going to be coming out next year, and I'm super excited about it. And that is just going to be so awesome. So
yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
So Ribeye Ranger's here also, and he
Ah.
says, proud of you, meat man. I can't even convince any of my 7 siblings to go carnivore. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Right. I like that name, Ribeye Ranger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I thank you for introducing me to ribeye. Man, it's funny. I've been a cook, but I never really, cooked a whole lot of things. I would cook them. You cook in a restaurant or in the Navy, you just cook it. I wasn't eating all that stuff all the time. So,
Mhm.
steaks just wasn't like, oh, we would eat one steak a year. I would cook my wife's steak on our anniversary every year. And it'd be so good, but that would be it. And then the rest of the year we eat everything else.
Yeah.
But now I've been eating steak like 4 times a week.
Oh my God.
I know. All kind of steaks, trying all kind of steaks. Just hey, let me try. Let me see how this tastes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been great. Ribeye though is definitely, whew,
It's
gosh.
so good.
I can eat it
It's so
cold. I
perfect.
can eat it hot. I can eat it whatever. It's just good.
Yeah, ribeye is delicious. Absolutely delicious. Love
Yes.
it. Is in fact, sometimes I'll just crave it like, okay, there's nothing else gonna satisfy like a ribeye.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just have to have it. And another one that's really good, I don't know if you've tried it yet, chuck steak, chuck eye
Mm,
is really nice. It's reminiscent of a ribeye, but you can't cook it too long because it will get tough. It's chuck.
okay.
But if you cook it to medium rare, so good.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've seen some other carnivorians, talk about that, getting that piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. So
really
I,
good.
yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna
If you
check it
can
out.
find the chuck eye, that's the
Yeah. Yeah.
part.
Yes.
So what, I mean, you said ribeye, but what's your top go-tos for your way of eating now?
Um. Well, today, like I told you, for the last 3 days, I've just been eating beef. I haven't had no butter. I just been putting beef tallow as my butter and cooking it in beef tallow. So I've just been eating burgers and ribeye, porterhouse. I had, a couple different cuts. Um, and today I just tried some beef bacon, and
Mm.
so that was delicious.
Okay.
So yeah, but generally, yeah, my typical fallback meal is basically a burger, and I try to do the grass-fed, grass-finished burgers, and have some pasture-raised eggs. That's generally my meal. I've been switching it up a little bit, like I said, just trying some other things. I do catfish in a week. And I'll blacken it or just grill it or bake it. Um,
Mhm.
Shrimp. Uh, that's shrimp and steak. Those that's my side when I have shrimp. So it's,
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
steak. It's some shrimp. So
Yep.
um, and of course, been doing. One thing I used to eat back in my struggling days, pork steak and rice. That was always my meal there, because you can get some pork steak for cheap. Bake
Mhm.
that joker nice and tender in the oven and season it.
Yes.
Oh yes. So I had a pork steak earlier this week, and it was
Mm.
delicious. So I'm like, okay, I got to get back to eating them pork steaks because it's nice and fatty.
Yes.
We like the fat.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes, yes.
fat. So yeah, chicken thighs. Um, yeah. What else? I just been, thanks to you, tried out lamb. So that's gonna be something I'm gonna add to the meat collection. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So hey, if you got 4 legs and it walks around here, I might have to start trying it now.
I
I used
know
to
that's
turn,
right.
I used to turn my head at deer and eating gamey stuff, bison. I'd be like, I ain't that. But hey, if it's cooked good and you can season it good, it might get eaten around here now. So
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. I definitely am in the same boat. I love a good pork steak. I put it on the grill.
mm.
I fry it. Oh my
Oh,
god, so
oh
good.
yeah.
So, 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 so
I gotta
good.
fry it now too, since you said that.
It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. But on
Yeah.
the grill is really good. One of the things that I will say is like back in the day, we was killing the food. We was cooking it too long. Don't cook
Mm.
your food to death. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
your pork should be tender and juicy. It should not be like
Yes.
dry like a piece of shoe leather.
Yes.
It's no wonder nobody liked pork. It's because it was too dry.
Too dry. Yep.
It
Same
was
thing
too
with
dry.
chicken breast. People, I that was the only piece of meat I used to eat was chicken breast, but I used to make
Mhm.
mine nice and juicy. But
Yeah.
that's another thing people have, and it could be dry if you could overcook it. So you know,
Yep. Don't overcook your meats.
don't.
So what temperature are you eating your steaks at?
Usually between about 125 to 130, somewhere up in there.
So like a medium rare.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you go from cooking it further down?
Yes. I was doing, look, you already know. Well done, baby.
Taking
Don't want
that
to see
straight to
no
bed.
blood. Don't want to see no blood. No. But
Mhm, mhm.
now, oh, I mean, I even take a little blood. Matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, I was like, some ground beef. I know people be eating ground beef, I was like,
Mhm.
let me, I just tasted a little bit just to see. Yeah, it wasn't bad actually. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm gonna keep doing that, but I just wanted to try it to see.
We got a thing, you know,
Yeah,
we got a thing
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
honestly, it is, I just will say this, that the juices that come out of your steak, out
Mhm.
of your ground beef, though they are red, they are not blood. The blood of
Yes.
the animal was removed during the butchering or during the slaughtering of the animal. So they're not blood. And I can't think of the name of what they are right at the moment, but
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
look that up. Just
Yeah.
Google it. You'll find
Yes.
out it's not blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a question for you in here. Let me pop
For
it up.
me? A question
Yes.
for me?
Yes.
Oh,
This is your show.
okay.
Curious, Mr. Brown, what benefits have you felt early on in your carnivore journey? My very first benefit was really deep sleep by my third day.
Uh, that's interesting that you talk about the sleep because I do sleep with a CPAP machine. So generally, when my eyes go out, I couldn't tell you unless I looked at my watch to tell me if I had deep sleep or not. So it's like I close my eyes and I wake up and I don't know what happens in between. I can't even promise you. I don't even dream. So I don't know,
Wow.
So, but, the benefit for me was just being able to move and move without so much pain. I have been dealing with that since I've been actually dealing with it for a long time. Once again, not really understanding the disease I had and things that I could do naturally. So it wasn't until about after I went through like having 8 providers in 10 years,
Mm.
and then it just got tiring trying to explain to every provider my disease. So I was like, I need to learn about this disease myself before I even so the next and so I just started learning. I started looking at the researchers. I started looking at other countries, what they were doing, and I just started learning and took that into my own hands. And I was like, okay, what can I do? And start joining. Like I joined the research for sarcoidosis and start looking at lymphedema and these different things that have been affecting me. And I started trying to see what can I do to start changing these things. But I just was skating along for all these years, dealing with pain and dealing with aching joints. And doctors and different people, physical therapists, they're doing all these things to try to be like, well, here, try this. Let's see if this helps. And it might help for a little while, but it never really solved the problem. So, and I just like to say now, with when you're dealing with most doctors today, they're just trying to treat the symptom. They're really not trying to treat the problem. And so it took me a long time to get to this point to realize that it was the food I was eating. I don't know how I kept talking myself out of that, but it's the food. It was the
Yeah.
food. It's 100% the food. We'll say
Yeah.
that one more time. It's the food, 100%. And so now that I've been able to move a little bit and do things, I feel like I want to do stuff. So like I
Mhm.
said, I went and joined the Y today. So hey, I'm trying to you know, be able to move. So and that's being, of course when COVID came around, that just added to my situation where it made my mobility issues worse. Um, and then on top of that, so then after being treated with prednisone for the last 10 years, taking it every day, some days getting shots, with 60 milligrams of prednisone, which is a lot, and then gaining the weight from all that, I probably have gained about 200 and something pounds on prednisone, and but it helped me a little bit while I was taking it, But every time I would try to wean off of it, then the pain would come right back. And so you learn like, wait a minute, this ain't helping me. And so carnivore definitely helped me, and I would say that would be my number one thing is the pain. The pain. Then right next to it, just probably this right here, like this, would be the swelling. My legs have been swollen for the last 15 years almost. So, um, I mean, I went and saw my massage therapist yesterday. Let's say Saturday, Friday, and man, she's really impressed with what's going on as well. Because when I first came to see her, three, four, well, about a month ago, actually, my legs were swollen still a little bit, and she could see, my skin had hardened up, my muscles in my legs had hardened up so hard. I just thought that was part, you just be thinking that this is part of what's going on in my body. But now she's been working on that and trying to help me get the fluid up as well. And now, I just got a little this much swelling in my calf, just a little bit. I mean, it's almost
Wow.
gone. And then the
Amazing.
leg back there is all it's all soft now, which is crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah. You
It's
know,
the food, people. It is the food causing all
yes.
these issues.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I can tell you that Sherrod started on a 7-day trial with a
Yes.
number of other people that were starting. And within like a couple, 2, 3 days, he was already saying, my pain is gone,
Yes.
and shocked by how fast his pain was gone. And when
Yes.
I saw him that next Sunday, I could not believe my eyes to see how much that swelling had already gone down within, I think you started on a Sunday. So by the next
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It was
It's
immediate.
amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have another question, 2 questions here. This is Calbrina. And she says, what is your go-to food? And what would be your advice for someone just starting carnivore?
Yes. Go to food. Right now, the ribeye is really, and thanks to telling me about getting the whole roll as opposed to just going buying the steaks individually, because I think the last roll I got about 14 steaks off of it. So way more than I would have spent just buying a couple of steaks in a pack.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's a recommendation right there. Don't buy those packs in the store. Go get you a whole roll. Cut your own steaks. I'm doing that for the rest of everything now. I'm even trying to do that with chicken and everything because it's just better to buy bulk.
Yep.
So that's my mission is to do that. But I would say so for my go to. Oh no, that's my go to would be the ribeye. Before a couple weeks ago, I would say burgers. I would do burgers and a couple eggs with it. That's I mean I still eat it. I still like it. So I mean that's still my main meal that I'll eat in a pinch. But right now, oh, you know what else I like now too is the crustless pizza. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's been a help for me because all over the course of my life we've been eating pizza at least once a week. So to be able to make your own pizza, getting the uncured this and that, and I still do those things because, I didn't know if some of those things in the meat, the nitrates were causing any of my pain or inflammation. So I had started to cut back on all those things. But I mean, to now just be able to eat some meat in it and put all the meat you want in it with some mozzarella and kind of, get it where it's like really turned kind of brownish, kind
Oh
of,
my gosh.
and it's nice and crispy. Oh my gosh, what? Like
You're gonna
fried
have to
chicken.
share your recipe for the pizza because for those of you that can tolerate cheese, He's killing it with the pizzas.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it looks so good. Y'all know I can't eat cheese, and I'm super jealous. I'm over here with my full FOMO because I miss pizza, but it looked really good.
I should have sent you pictures of the food I was cooking. So, I do that every now and then. I'll be like, this looks so good. I got to take a picture. So, of course, not everybody. How you do the pizza? It's really simple. It's just not using a crust. So I just,
right.
But
Sherrod is a chef, so he's always doing a little something to the food to make it extra good. Okay, so what would be your advice for someone just starting carnivore?
I would just say get out of your head and just do it. A lot of times we put these barriers up. We'll say, that don't. And if you got questions, just do research on it. YouTube is great for every question you want to know. So you're going to run into 1,000 and some people who's probably going to be telling you just about the same thing. That just do it. I think I watched Dr. Oh man, I can't think of his name. You know what I'm talking about.
Dr. Berry, Dr.
Berry. I watched his, it was an older video, like 5 years ago or something like that. What 15 mistakes not to make on carnivore. So, because I had been looking at doing carnivore for the last year, but I just didn't start it because in my head, all these questions. Well, what about this? Well, how you gonna do this? What you gonna do with all this food you got? All those things will keep you from getting started. So just get out of your head and just do it, and then let everything else work its way out. I still got some sides in the freezer, but my son, he about to go off to college. I'm like, man, you're gonna have to eat all these sides before you go. So, all them green beans up in there, broccoli, all that stuff, French fries, all that stuff in there, chimichangas, all that stuff.
Just throw it in the trash, Sherrod. You need to just throw it away.
Yeah, I know.
Don't make him eat it.
Yeah.
He needs to go carnivore too, so his brain can work at fully optimal.
Trust me, you already know I would try with that one. So, but everybody gonna make their decision. So hey,
That's right.
But that's what I would just recommend. Just stay out of your head, find the information you need to find, and just do it. Just start it, because once you start it, you'll realize, oh, you know what, this is good. I haven't met anybody, even people like she says that she done talked to about it, and just doing it for a day to 2 days, that you could see some results.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a winner right there for me. So
it really, really is. It really, really is. I do want to just touch on the importance of community before we wrap up. So can you just talk a little bit about the community that you are a part of, and how does that impact your life?
You mean your community? No.
Yeah, the carnivore community.
I'm part of your community.
Yes.
Hey, we in this like this, so I'm rolling with you. That's it. I'm rolling with you, Rush. So, but yeah, being able to, it's just like life, right? I did a lot of stuff in my life, and I've always had our family, our pastor, his wife, and most of my family is in church, so always being able to look at them from when I was a young age to even to today has been the thing that has helped me to be like, there's something with this walk, right? There's something about, them going to church and them doing these things, them being in it like they were 100%, that got me to really be sold on it. And so same thing for carnivore. It's like, being able to look at you do it for these few years here and be consistent. I mean, really consistent about it, has really been like, you know what, you could do this too. So like I said, I didn't start when you started, because once again, in my head about it, just in my head. That was all. That was the only thing keeping me. Me, I was keeping myself from being healthier 2 years ago than I am right now. And
Yeah.
so, get out of your head. Stop talking. And that's one thing too. I'm working on is what I'm saying to myself. And we got to be careful. What we say to ourselves and the things we say, and because that could deter you from doing things. It could keep
Hmm.
you from. It could keep you from your blessing. To be honest. So
Yes, absolutely. That's great advice. And to be honest, I think that every single person should try it. Should try a meat-based, if you want to consider it to be an elimination diet,
uh,
eliminate everything and then see what it is that's really causing your problem. So if you've got high blood pressure, if you've got type 2 diabetes, if you even have pre-diabetes, if you have MS, if you have bipolar disorder, if you have so many things, so everything from physical to mental health and beyond is touched by the food that we eat, and we are not being informed that the food is the problem.
yeah,
And so that is what's going on with us. It's causing a lot of problems. If you're sick, if you are sick with anything, you need to try a carnivore diet because inflammation is tearing your body up.
yeah.
It's the inflammation.
Can I
And
add to that? Because
yeah, please.
look, inflammation. Look, I've been dealing with this for 25 plus years. Okay, and nothing I have done or taken has helped. Whether that's medically, whether it's trying to do things, what you see, doing this, doing this. The only thing that has helped is me changing my food. That is the only thing that has helped. No prednisone has helped. No whatever, ever. All these medications, all these pain pills, none of that stuff helped. It was just food. The food that you're putting into your mouth on a daily basis, and that's what gets you because you have to eat to live, but the foods that we're eating are not good for us. And if you're dealing with inflammatory arthritis or any of these arthritis, I'm gonna say that because I got once again every joint in my body has been been X-rayed and looked at, and yes, I have bad everything, arthritis, this, that, everything else going on in all my joints.
Mm,
And I'm telling you to this day that I am good. I feel good right now in my joints. Okay. So I wish I'd have waited before I got the hip injection. I just got a hip injection a month and a half ago
mhm.
because my hip was hurting so bad again. So, I'm just saying. And yeah, if you're dealing with any inflammatory disease, any, I would say, disease like of course sarcoidosis, those type of things, lupus, any of these things like that, MS, all these things, you can make a difference just by changing what you eat.
Absolutely. So, we're gonna wrap it up, but I do want to say thank you, Sherrod, so much for being willing to come on. Ribeye Ranger actually said it right here. Moving with less pain, game changer. I know you will inspire so many others. Thanks for going public with Robin. And I want to say thank you for going public with me because I asked around. This is one of the questions. So when I think about talking to all these doctors, the ones that I speak to and I interview them on my channel,
Mhm.
one of the questions that I always have asked is, can a carnivore diet help with sarcoidosis?
Yes.
Nobody was able to give me an answer. Nobody was able to give me an answer. I had the thought in my mind that it should help because it's an inflammatory disease, but I wasn't sure, and I was not able to get an answer. So I wanted to just mention one person that's out here, that's in the community, that has sarcoidosis and has changed his life with that, and his name is Todd Bockness. And so I know that he has. You're gonna have to check his channel out. I'll make sure that I
Okay.
put the
Yeah.
link to
Yeah.
that
I
in the
definitely
show
will.
notes
Yes. Yes.
because nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
But if you have any inflammatory disease,
Yes.
doesn't matter what it is. If you've got Alzheimer's and dementia, you need to be on carnivore
Yes.
because it's a game changer.
Mm.
It is a
Man.
game changer.
Yes.
All right, Sherrod. So let me let you have the final word before we close out.
Oh Lord. No. Let's bow our heads. No.
All right.
We're not in church. No. But I would say though, just you know, I don't know. Hopefully, what I shared today could help somebody. And like I said, if you got questions, you know, you can always question right here on Robin's channel. She is very helpful. She'll take the time and get to you and get you an answer. And so, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you for doing this. I was a little nervous, but I feel all right now. Once I get to talking, I feel better. You already know. So, but yeah, hey, I just want to keep on going though. I'll keep on, trying to, I want my health to be better. I want life to be better. Um, so I'm just going to keep going forward because I want to enjoy it. Right. So that's all I want to share. Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of CarnivorousGrama Speaks. We will see you next weekend. Bye, everybody.